Okay, that got a bit out of sync then. I don't know what you saw on the lead in, but anyway. G'day, everybody. It's the 11th of April, so it's Friday. There's a weekend coming up. My eyes are falling out of my head, too much screen time, but I did get an hour and a half off away from here for lunch, which was good. Down the beach. Ooh, jeepers. Les Sables d'Olonne has got, it actually is rated as one of the best, how many? Top 100 beaches in the world or something. They run the beach competition, and Les Sables d'Olonne is in that ranking. I forget where they sit, but be hard to beat the Australian beaches. But I'm biased. But anyway, it's a beautiful beach here, and it was quite amazing down there. No one in the water. It's still cold, but it's amazing place. So you might have been there for the questions. I did the answers for the questions that were on Facebook, and we're going to do the YouTube one next time when I think there's enough interest there to run another series of questions. So you'll be able to put your questions in the comments on the YouTube video that you'll see publicising that. Okay, we're going to go straight to the tracker and we'll see what that looks like. It's all pretty much as predicted. There's a couple of interesting things going on. So you've got the tracker there, and then now I'm looking at the tracker as well. So here we are. Gary is missing off the screen. He's right up here, sitting in a hole, still not going anywhere in a hurry. So he's going to form up behind the rest of the fleet for sure. So it was fun to watch him go north, but it didn't really work out in the end so far. And we'll come to the front of the fleet later on. Renaud's still sitting out there, leader of the pack. And we've got Josh back here doing 3.6 and a 62-mile day. And you can see he's on the back, he's above the trade line. If you said this is the trades coming in, he's right on the divider there. So it's not that he's sailing slow, it's just that he doesn't have the same breeze as the others. So he needs to get a bit further south maybe, but that'll fluctuate. Anyway, he's heading in the right direction, having a lot of fun. No reports of any real problems, so that's cool. Jasmine back here doing 4.7, 93-mile day. That's cool. I suppose the target miles now are 100 miles a day. That's what you got to be trying to keep up with to keep up with the fleet, and that's what you should be getting in the trades. And she might be just in it. You can see the wind there, and we'll follow what happens with that later on. Jacob, still don't know, but he must be working with his wind pilot. We haven't heard the outcome of all that, but it's looking good. No chatter saying, oh, it's a problem, blah, blah, blah. 5.6 knots and 112-mile day. So he'd be pretty happy. Must be nice conditions. Looks like it's about 10 to 15 knots. The sea state should be down to meter and a bit maybe. So all pretty cool. Adam looks like he's on a tactical move there. I think he decided he wants to get a bit further south. He had a quiet day a few days ago, and he's now doing 5.4 and 102-mile day. So that's okay. Christian, 5.6 knots, 116-mile day. So they're all moving pretty much the same through there. Even Mark's doing 5.3 knots, so on Coconut. And then we come over to Eric. Eric had a problem with his tracker. You probably didn't see that, but for some reason, his primary tracker suddenly lost power. It was fading very quickly. YB could see it on the console. We weren't looking at the console. We could see the same thing, but we didn't have it turned on. So for whatever reason, maybe he moved it on board and it wasn't a good place to get a signal out. When that happens, the unit chews up power really rapidly while it's trying to continually send the signal that it can't get out. Anyway, we don't know what caused that yet. We got the message to his manager, who got it to Eric, and said, activate your second backup YB3. And then when you've got that operational, which it is now, it's been online for about 45 minutes, and he pinged at the new 4 o'clock position, UTC. And once you've done that, we've told him charge up the primary system, and then once that's charged, we can check that and see if it's holding power and so on. It was an interesting conversation. I still remember vividly when we were asked the question about a year ago, oh, do we really need the second tracker? And I really thought about it hard because all the costs add up, and I thought, and then in the end I said, no, we better have a second one because you never know what's going to happen. It's going to take a long time. We've had challenges in the GGR and stuff, so I said, nope, everyone's got to have a second one. It's mandatory, and it's proving to be the right decision because we do, it's obviously a safety device as well with plenty of battery capacity usually. But anyway, so we'll let you know what happens there. Urton. I'll read you. I keep getting reports from Eric as well, but I'll do it once we get off the tracker. His manager is regularly sending me reports every day, which is cool. Urton, 4.9 knots, 117-mile day. That's fast for him. He's looking good. And Dan Turk, 5.6 knots, 135-mile day. That's on the move. So he'd be happy with that. 135. That's right up there. Peeler, 5.6 knots and 132-mile day. Again, that's a nice, healthy speed. So they're sailing well, and they've obviously got the breeze. Holiday Dance, 6 knots, 146-mile day. That's pretty cool. He's definitely picked up in the last few hours because I was looking at it previously. His 24-hour run wasn't there, but he was doing sort of mid-fives. He's doing 5.5 and stuff, and hadn't quite met Kerry because Kerry had scooped the ball. There you go, 151. I think that's a new one. He was 150 the other day, I hope. Otherwise, I'll retract that. There we go. Yeah, he's been flying. He's actually slowed down a bit on the last 4 hours. He's only 6.2. But previously I looked and he was doing 6.5 and he had 150, I think it was. But now he's topped that because 150 was the same before. 151, that's pretty good. I will check the current in a minute. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a bit of a boost, but that's still pretty healthy. And what's happening with Renaud? 142. Woohoo! So Kerry took a bit out on him today. It's his turn. But he's doing 6.4. But he was doing high fives, like high fives, and then it was I hadn't seen him over 6. So he's now picked up speed. Maybe the breeze that's going through here has finally caught up with him. Because now, 6.2 versus 6.4, but it's the 24-hour average, which is the big thing. So Kerry, in hindsight, over the last 24 hours, has probably pulled out 10 miles or something. There we go. 9 miles. That's kind of cool. Got to see more of that. Keep the pressure on. Even Renaud. I say that, it's not as if I'm not with Renaud, but he would like the competition as well. It could be said by some that it's a bit boring for him to always be at the front. He needs someone breathing down his neck to keep the pressure on him and make it a bit fun. At the moment, he's probably kicking back, having a cigar in the cockpit, cooking up another storm on the stove, having a wine or something, thinking, this is all too easy. Sure, he's probably working his butt off. Anyway, it's all kind of fun, eh? And poor old Gary up here, we haven't forgotten him. He's doing exactly 2 knots, and he's gone exactly 0 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. That means he's sailing away from the mark. You can see that. They don't give you a negative value. They just say 0. So effectively, he hasn't gone anywhere. And it's daylight now. Let's check to see Popeye's still there. Yep, Popeye's still there, but they're probably following my suggestion, maybe, and not leaving until tomorrow morning, which is Saturday. I never worry about bananas on the boat. Bananas are a good thing, tasty. Some people hate bananas on the boat, bad luck. I never allow whistling on the boat. I hate it. If you're on a boat ship with the Russians, and I spent a lot of time on ships with Russians in Antarctica, they're great people, by the way, because they're not involved in politics. They're just nice people. And Ukrainians, actually, we used to have regular Ukrainian officers on the bridge, and sometimes engineering officers. And then ship's crew were all Russian, like the bosun and the deck guys and all that sort of stuff. And then we'd have engineers from a few different Eastern European countries and stuff. So, and we had a ball. We used to love the crew. Anyway, what did I get into that for? Cheapest. Now I completely forget what I was talking about. Gary, cheapest, I got no idea what we're talking about. Oh, Popeye. How did that get into Popeye? Oh, bad luck, that's right. If you're on a ship and you get caught whistling by a Russian, they will literally scream at you. Very bad luck to whistle on a ship and a yacht. I'd never let people whistle on my boats ever. It's bad luck. Anyway, I digress. So we want to look at currents. Currents here. Okay, so who's getting the benefit? No, There's no suggesting, but it's hard to tell because we've seen it before. When the boats were sitting there, they'd be in an area like this and they would be doing 2 knots, roaring along with the current, whereas it was only suggesting half a knot. So maybe there's a bit of current there helping in. Dan's doing 6. Kerry was doing 6.5s before, so it could be a bit of a current there. But either way, I'd say Renaud should be getting the same, so no real advantage there. On these guys, that explains Ayrton, because Ayrton is flying for Ayrton, 4.9, 117-mile day. I think they've been getting a bit of a kick there. Gary, no current benefit at all, sitting in no man's land, and he's got a bit of a way to go yet. So Josh is back there, Mark's in a hole. So not a lot there. So we'll go back to the weather and we'll run that forward a couple of days and see what they're likely to get, see if it's going to still cover them. I think I'll leave it at that resolution there because we can see where the breeze is and where it's not. So I hit the weather and then push it over here. So here we go. So that's tomorrow morning, early hours of the morning. It's still sort of holding, but it does look as if it started to dip down a little bit, but they're running right along the edge there. And there we go to the 12th, so that's 24, 30 hours or so. And Christian better get down a bit, but the others, the lead group of 4, they're in the clear. They're holding the breeze for the next 24 hours. And Eric and Ayrton and who's that over there? Eric, Ayrton, and Dan Turk should be right. The others at the back, so. That's in the next 24 hours. So let's just push it through now. That's 48 hours. They're all looking good. It's going to push up a bit. Even Gary's got breeze. But yeah, the second day is okay. And then we just push it forward the third day. So the third day is looking fine as well. They're all pretty much under it. Gary will be happy to get a breeze. Keep pushing it, and then they'll be getting solid stuff. So looking good. I think they're all going to be in the trades, well and truly, making good time, even Gary. So let's just have a quick look. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So there's Gary. I'm just watching Gary at the moment. No wind tomorrow at all. So he's going to go nowhere for the next 24 hours. He'll be sitting there. The same deal. Tomorrow when we come up, you'll be right there. But then by late that night, so he's got another day and a half of sitting there while everyone else sails away, which is supremely frustrating. But that's life. Sailing is you win some, you lose some. So all very good. There's not much point in looking at the tracker at the moment, but I will anyway, just to keep it going. So Renaud's there. VMG from the start is quite low, but recent is quite high, 5.8, 6.3 for Kerry. So that gives them some interesting timelines. Anyway, it's Renaud, Kerry, Daniel, Peeler. So let's see how far behind we are here for Peeler. So distance sailed is a bit distorted too, see, because the sailing circles and they measure up every 4 hours. So Peeler's done 1684 versus 1815 for Renaud. That's 120, about 130 miles difference. So Renaud's gone 100. Renaud's actually sailed 130 miles further than Peeler. Right? So Peeler must have been sailing a pretty straight course over time. So that's interesting. And Kerry Harris has only done 1,700 miles, but Renaud's sailed even faster. Usually it's the other way around. Of course you sail further because he's 100 and something miles in front, not just the same distance. They're not all lined up, so that's probably the distance, but it depends. We're better off just using the ruler as a guide because it does measure their track, and if they've been scooting around all over the place, it can be a bit distorted. So let's just use the good old ruler here, and we'll go bow to bow with Peeler. It's bow to bow. She's 140 miles, 139.2 nautical miles behind, 139. And for Kerry, I would put him about there. Kerry's now 86 miles behind, so it's pretty much the same. Dan is about there, 94 miles, I'd say. Yeah, 94 miles, maybe a bit more. So that's not too bad. And even the others back here, we'll just say keeping in touch. So generally speaking, 260 miles behind. 260 miles is 2 days. So they're a couple of days behind Renaud. Not out of the question. So that's okay. I think we're run out at that point. Not much more I can show you there. So I'll come back and say good day and see if he's here. I was gonna read you Eric's stuff. What about Jasmine? Is that a joke? I mentioned Jasmine. You might have missed. Someone doesn't like it when I don't talk lots about Jasmine. But Jasmine's there. I mentioned her speed and bits and pieces. So anyway, I'm just going to come up here and just tell you what Eric's been telling me. Where are we? Boom, boom. Jeepers, I can't find it now. Here we go. Past messages. Update for Sunbear, day 16, end of leg 2, end of the day, leg 2. 5 degrees now, but light wind, still boat and skipper are okay. Lots of rain overnight, so I collected more water. So he'll be happy about that. Anyone's happy with water. I've got some pictures here as well, but I didn't post them because they're all pretty average. Oh, look at that. You can get the shot. There's Eric's dinner one night, which looked like baked beans and a lump of ham and something else, and then just talking about having a bird on board for a day. Prior to that, he was happy with the progress. Big thunderstorms the other day. Everyone's getting thunderstorms, heaps of rain, and he's happy on board. I know everything seems to be working, touch wood. So that's pretty cool. What can I tell you about Jasmine? She's happy. She's been doing everything right. She's a sailor now, so she's mixing it with the boys and Peeler, all having a lot of fun. So what do we got here? Now I've got to get to the video. I have a problem here scrolling back sometimes. Anyway, the journey of Shark. G'day guys, good Renaud's. Yeah, go Renaud. What about Jasmine? That's all I can tell you about Jasmine. I got some great photos from her, which was fortunate for the press release, but you probably saw that one. And I haven't got a word report, but she does a lot of fantastic posts. So I would suggest you come back to that, and I can show you here. I've got some video clips that she had. Well, it's just photos. But there's some great photos there. There's Jasmine. I've got a whole stream of them here. There she is up on the bow. That was a good shot, but it had an angled horizon, which is really difficult on the really difficult for a press release. So we used another shot, and then it was all her sponsors and stuff. She had a great. Well, that was an interesting one, which she'd put up before, which was her version of the log. You can't see the main branch, but you've got the bits hanging out, so you don't want to hit that. And then this, we were supposed to use this sunset shot here. It was a really cool one. That's the moon up there, I think it is, in the top right-hand corner. Big rows there. So anyway, I've got a bunch of videos from them, which we'll do. But they're doing a good job of their own videos, so we haven't worried about getting that on there. Okay. So if you haven't seen the Q&A, there were some interesting questions there from previous. You might want to have a look at that. Yeah, that's it. So it'll be the weekend tomorrow. Be prepared for anything. I should be up tomorrow. I will be up tomorrow and Sunday, so I might waffle on about something. I don't know. We'll see. Okay. Wind on water. Thanks, mate. The chat was working cool. All right. Thanks for that. So have a good Friday night and a good weekend and all that sort of stuff, and I'll see you tomorrow. See you later.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.